It's Tuesday, July 11th, 2023. Let's talk about the news. From the New York Times, it's toxic slime time on Florida's Lake Okeechobee. Florida's 730 square mile Lake Okeechobee is increasingly plagued by algae blooms during the summer, producing water and airborne toxins potent enough to kill pets and to send local residents who catch a whiff of its vapors to the hospital. This is largely the consequence of the runoff of phosphorus-based fertilizers into the lake, as those fertilizers encourage the growth of this type of algae, and climate-related shifts to local weather conditions have amplified the algae's range and strength. This lake also serves as an important reservoir for the region, which means this algae is funneled to nearby areas when lake levels get too high, which is often the case during Florida's rainy season, which is just starting. At the moment, more than half the lake is already in full algae bloom, and it's 2 feet higher than the United States Corps of Engineers likes to see it, which suggests there could be a huge influx of these blooms downstream from the lake in the coming weeks. From interesting engineering, French Parliament passes law granting police eyes and ears into your phones. The French government has announced the passage of a new provision that gives police the legal ability to remotely activate the cameras, microphones, and GPS systems contained in phones, laptops, and cars owned by some criminal suspects. This provision primarily applies to people suspected of terrorism, delinquency, and organized crime, but there are concerns in the wake of significant and often violent crackdowns by police against protesters throughout the country that these labels could be slapped on just about anyone, allowing the police to invade the privacy of French citizens at whim. And this has raised alarms within local and international human rights and civil liberty advocacy groups. And from Politico, Macron blocks NATO outpost in Japan amid Chinese complaints. French President Macron has told NATO leadership that he opposes proposed plans to open up an office in Tokyo, which for now at least blocks the alliance's soft expansion into the region. NATO is a military alliance that was formed in Europe to oppose the expansion of the Soviet Union, and some members, including the French government, worry that including Japan as a pseudo-member of the group as part of a larger effort to box in China during a period of its own expansionary ambitions would commit them to declaring war on China in the event of potential near-future conflict over Taiwan, which is something they would perhaps understandably prefer to avoid. If you're finding some value in One Sentence News, consider leaving a quick review wherever you get your podcasts and/or sharing the show with a friend. You can find out more about this show or subscribe to the email version at onesentencenews.com, and you can support this and other related projects like the Let's Know Things and Brain Lenses podcasts at understandery.com.